Well, hello and welcome to today's tips, which is all about how to write a press release. You don't need to have any journalism experience or to be an expert PR agent to be able to write a successful press release that gets picked up by the media and then published all around the world. In fact, I have shown so many people how to do this themselves. They've gone off and run with it and they've pitched their story to the media, and their press release has landed them tens of thousands of dollars in media coverage. You can do this yourself without any background in the media. Why do we do this? A press release is so powerful in giving you coverage around the world. It's free publicity, it grabs the attention of the media, and it's great for SEO as well, which is search engine optimization. That means when someone goes to Google and types in accountant Sydney, and you've written a couple of press releases which have made media, you've got the press release on your website, it's going to make you show up more often. Of course, then people will be able to find you really easily. So what's the first thing we need to do when we sit down and write our press release? We need to come up with our hook. And our hook is the angle that's going to draw people in the opening headline or the opening paragraph. How do we come up with our hook? This is how. Our news values. This is a bit of a checklist, which I say to people, try and sit down and work out what of these news values can I use in putting in my press release to make it sound very newsworthy. So is there a conflict involved? Are you going against maybe the government of the day, or there are claims today that people are saying X, whereas I actually find Y? So people love a bit of conflict. Does this have an impact on people's lives? Is there a novelty factor involved? So something out of the ordinary. Is there a human interest factor? Proximity. So is this going to affect people in Sydney if I'm going to be targeting a Sydney newspaper compared to, say, an audience in Perth? Is someone prominent involved? And how current is this? So think about things that are going on in the world at the moment. Might be entertainment-wise. So I use the example of Squid Game, on Netflix at the moment. That's a really popular TV series which has just launched. Everyone's watching it. You might be able to think of something to do with Squid Game which you can put into your press release. Or I remember Meghan and Harry's wedding. People, my clients and myself, were writing press releases to tie in with that. So start thinking about what's happening in the world today and how you can perhaps draw your angle into that story. The other thing you want to think about is, this is what you need for a press release, and that's the 5 W's and the H. So the who, what, when, where, why, and how. This is the foundation for all my training. So if I'm teaching someone how to do public speaking, I always make sure they include these 6 elements into their speeches. It's the same with your press release, because these are all the questions that journalists are going to ask. Your audience wants to know. So let's make it easy for a journalist who's under, very strict deadlines, lots of competing demands. Let's put all these elements into our press release. So we want them to just pick up the press release and run with the story, right? That's the ideal situation here. Let's make it as easy as possible, not only for that to happen, but for our press release to get their attention. Journalists receive hundreds of emails, email pitches, press releases every single day. I was a journalist in newsrooms in Sydney and regional areas in Australia, and my inbox was always flooded with everyone trying to pitch their story or promote their business, product, service. So you really want to be able to grab their attention in the opening line. Another way to do that is to use an ST word. So when I say ST word, I mean a word that ends in the letters ST. So first, last, largest, greatest, fastest. If you can put one of these into your opening paragraph, people love that. And you're going to draw the journalist in as opposed to not using one of those words. The other really important element, in fact, it's probably the most important element of your press release, is your headline. Because sometimes if you don't have a catchy headline or a newsworthy headline, people will delete it. Journalists will delete it. So you might want to come back to it and write it at the end. And you want to think about a hook that you can actually, thinking of those news values before, what's something that I can use in my opening headline to grab attention. The second most important part of your press release is your first paragraph. It is very, very important because a lot of people won't read past this. So you want to make sure it's no more than 30 words. You get straight to the point with our hook, our most newsworthy angle. And if you can, use an ST word in that opening paragraph. Here is an example of exactly that. This is an example of a press release I wrote for my real estate client. And this media press release went around Australia, got amazing coverage. Look at the opening paragraph. One of Australia's grandest homes, so an ST word, a stunning beachfront house in Merewether has sold for $8.7 million and has become the highest, another ST word, selling residential property ever in Newcastle. And here is the press release in its entirety. 1 page. That's all it is. And I've got the headline, I've got the opening paragraph, no more than 30 words. The other thing you need to remember is you don't want to have probably more than 1 page for a press release. I know I've had a few discussions over the years that people have a different view to that, but you should be able to get your who, what, when, where, why, and how into 1 page. And have a couple of quotes in there as well. Journalists love quotes, and it also makes their job easier, so they don't have to actually go and do a separate interview. And sometimes I've written a very effective press release to my clients that journalists have not even had to pick up the phone. They're like, well, I've got everything I need in that quote, in that press release. I've got the quotes I can use. So throw a couple of quotes in there like I have on this press release, and always have some contact information at the bottom. Teaching you how to write a press release is just one of the elements that I teach in my new Public Relations Pro course. It's a 6-week course which covers all of these modules, including your PR strategy as part of the PR 101 element. We do a media release workshop. We'll talk about how we perfect our pitch. And I'm going to give you step-by-step guides, including templates and scripts on how you can do this. I'll give you a template to write your bio. We'll talk about blog writing, because blog writing has been so powerful for my business and for other clients that I've had over the years in being able to get their name out there. So we'll spend a week focusing on blogs. There's another week also on high impact LinkedIn marketing. And I probably would say I get about half my clients through LinkedIn alone. It is really, really powerful. So we're spending a week on that to show you exactly how to do that. And finally, we'll finish off the whole course with some media training and public speaking training, so you can become the media's go-to guy or girl in your field, in your industry. I'm also going to throw in over $5,000 worth of bonuses. So there's pitch templates, we've got press release examples, cheat sheets, ebooks, workbooks. You don't have to start from scratch. So each week we'll do a live coaching call on Zoom. There's a free, a private Facebook group that's included, and you get lifetime access to all of this content. But then you get to have templates to actually not have to reinvent the wheel, and so you can just get going from the get-go. If you'd like to know more about my public relations course, which kicks off next Monday, only a couple of days left, Monday, the 18th of October, go to this website, www.publicrelationspro.com.au. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed today's tips. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.